Hello everyone, welcome once again. This is the second part of developing the pilot plan that we have talked in the previous session. We have been talking about pilot plan. What are we piloting? We are piloting our new solution. We are piloting our new process that we may have put together, and we are talking that why do we need a pilot? Because piloting is important in order to avoid any unintended consequences, in order to avoid any failure modes in the process. When it gets launched in the real world, and we might come across any issues, we don't want it, because either the cost will be too high, or the design may change, or the resources may not be available for again going through a change, or it can lead to a goodwill issue, it can lead to a damage, it can lead to a huge loss of revenues and the profits, or a face loss. So we don't want any of these issues when we launch a solution or a process. A company launches a website saying now we are going online. You go to the website, you try to log into the website, you are not able to log in. Traffic is too much, or the website is not very customer friendly, it is very slow. You click on it and it keeps on circling, and finally it opens after 2 minutes, and again it's very slow. So company did not realize that before launching it to the whole world, they should have checked it. They should have done a pilot to understand if it is working well also or not. That's very important. A typical example of pilot is when we go and purchase clothes. So when you go to a market and purchase a cloth, what do? We let's say we are purchasing a t-shirt. So however there is the size written on the t-shirt or a shirt, we always like to do a trial. So now this trial is nothing but the pilot, because you want to see how it is looking, how it is fitting, and cost is also a matter of it. However, if you ignore the cost, but the fitting and the color and all, and the overall look and feel is right or not, that's the pilot. Because you have a controlled situation in which you are testing a shirt on you. Because in the real world, when you wear it on a daily basis, when it's your business as usual for you, when it's your real life beginning for you, where you are using your shirt, it should not look bad, because then you maybe you cannot return the shirt. You have already incurred a cost on it. So, and then that brand shirt you will not buy again, saying that that brand of the shirt or that shop is selling shirt, I don't like it. So first of all, that brand loses a customer, and you lose your trust in that brand, and also you have a revenue loss also, because you just spent some money and it's of no use to you. We don't want that. So we do a trial run for everything that we purchase, and then only you bring that cloth home. So that is nothing but a pilot. That's why we are doing a pilot, because real life is not about a shirt. It's about talking about those big solutions that determine the livelihood of a lot of people in the world. So we need to be very careful when we design a solution. It is not just for us to have a Lean Six Sigma project and we design a process or a solution and we simply roll it out for everyone. Lives depend on it. Someone's career may depend on it. Maybe even your career is dependent on it. So be very careful while you implement a new solution or new process in the organization. So it is not just some of the guidelines that I talk about, the cost, resources and everything. We need to be very sensitive about the people, the culture of the organization, and how people perceive the change. Typically humans are resistant to any kind of change, so we need to keep that in mind while we are piloting a solution. As in the real world, the resistance will be very natural, which you may not experience in the piloting world. So we need to be very careful about it. Now if you look into my screen, I'm talking about how when we are executing the pilot, things that we keep in mind about: impact is on target. The intended results that we are expecting, what is the impact on the overall results while we are conducting the pilot? Is it giving us those results? If the results are little less than the target, no, you don't expect it. In the pilot run, the results should always exceed, because in the real world situation will be different and you may not get the same result. You may get always lesser results than the pilot. It's like you would have seen in cricket world, lot of cricket batsmen, they perform really well on the nets in the practice matches, but when they play in the real world, the pressure, the audience, and the target and all, it actually deteriorates their performance. So in the real world situation is always different. So in the pilot world, the performance should always be greater, much better than the target, because in the real world it will always go down. So the teams must determine, if you see on the slide it says the teams must determine precisely what is expected from the implementation of a solution pilot, and a success criteria should always be determined. How can I say that the pilot is successful, it is working as intended? And that needs to be developed and agreed also. And if you move to the next slide, here we're talking about what are the next steps after we have conducted a pilot test for the solutions. So after the pilot has been done, we need to make those changes into the solution and retest in the initial pilot area. You did a pilot, you identified some changes to be done, made the changes, again did a pilot. You will keep on doing this cycle of piloting until you are satisfied with the results. Not just once you did a pilot, made the changes, you're good to go. No, those problems can come in the real world. So until the pilot starts exceeding the performance criteria, we do not rest till that point. Then we try to pilot a process or a product in multiple situations and conditions and environment to see whether a product can withstand different type of environment or not. Is it a versatile product? It should not be made for one type of situation. A car, for example, they test it in different terrains. City and highways, there's the condition. Terrain can be snow, mud, hill, steep up, steep down, and rains. Different conditions they have when there is or wet roads, because that's the reliability of car tires also and car overall performance. Abandon the solution and revisit the analysis. That can also be a problem. Maybe your solution is just not working. Solution is just not working. What do we do in that case? Don't lose hope. Don't be disheartened. Go back to the analyze phase. And yes, that happens. We go back to the analyze phase. We again analyze the root causes. Have we identified the right root cause? Have we built the right solution? So sometimes we have to go back to the analyze phase when our solution just does not work. It is not the way solution is designed, it can also be the way you have collected the sample, entire analysis and entire root causes definition may be incorrect. So we may have to go back to analyze phase sometime as well. Expand the pilot to include additional variables. Sometimes pilot is giving intended results. You may be little susceptible, you should always have doubts, so try to add other variables in it to see whether it is working under those conditions also or not. Or sometimes when pilot is not working also, try to test it in other conditions, test with other variables that may impact. You see the pilot performance may change, see if it's changing for good or not. So try to make changes in that pilot, use other variables also, and then last but not the least, incorporate the lessons learned and the best practices. Sometimes pilots, when they perform very good means in meeting these solutions, meeting the target, we write what has really gone well. When pilots are not working well, we write what has gone really bad for the pilot. So basically we write the lessons learned, and these lessons learned are not for that pilot or not for that project, it's for the entire career that we may work. That when we run a pilot, we come across a lot of things with related to people, process and technology related things. These are the lessons that we can use in all the projects that we will work in our entire career on any Lean Six Sigma project. So pilot is a great step is a very interesting area, and is also a very important role that it plays. So all the hard work that you have done right from define till finally able to see your solution and you are implementing it as a pilot, everything can go for a toss, everything can fail, all the efforts can fail if you do not do a good pilot, right pilot. Otherwise, when you implement it and then it fails, it is better a solution to fail now than it fails in the final part of your journey. You don't want your entire solution, entire hard work to go in drain. So definitely you want to do a pilot and gain the confidence of implementing in the real world. So this is about piloting. If the piloting is successful, we'll move to the next step, which is to implement the solution in the real world. What needs to be done while we implement the solution in the real world? Let's see in the next session. Thank you for watching. This is Shivendra Sharma.